Don't get me wrong, if insurance is too expensive for you, you can find great deals on Craigslist. Need proof? Be especially careful the next time you reply to an ad or post on Craigslist. Story 1. Let me start off by saying this is the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. I was browsing Craigslist looking for a new TV. I saw a 55 smart TV for $150. I contacted the seller to ask if it was still in stock, and they said they were very interested. At that time, he asked if I could check out later that night, about 30 minutes away. But I said hell and went anyway. He said he worked late on Fridays and asked if I could come at 9:30. I really wanted a TV, but my friend Mason came with me to make sure it was safe. But Mason didn't go inside with me. He stayed in the car, but that didn't help much if something went wrong. I still felt better knowing that someone was right outside and knew where I was when I got there and knocked on the door. I'm fine. What about you? He then shook my hand and asked if I would like to go inside and watch TV. Why? I said, there is nothing. I don't have a reason. Just curious, that's all. He said he had bad experiences in the past and was nervous when meeting people. Yes, Oka. Then he let out a laugh that sounded a little tense. I was wondering why someone would ask such a strange question in this particular situation. Yes, I lied to them, because I felt it was necessary. It's still pitch dark outside. My car windows were tinted, so when he tried to see my car inside and out, he still doesn't see Mason. We were talking for a bit when we suddenly heard a strange scream, but it sounded a little boring. It was weak, but still barely audible. What was that noise? I didn't ask for anything. Our two boys are the only ones fighting in the bedroom. The screams I heard didn't sound like they were coming from where he was pointing, so that's when I knew something was wrong. He seemed to be on the other side of the house and was actually shorter than us. He asked if I was okay. He looked rather nervous. Yes, it's all right. No problem. Okay, he said. Let's watch TV so we can get out of here as soon as possible, he said. Follow me down the stairs to set up and connect to the guest bedroom. Then I know it works. He opened the cellar door and waved as if I wanted to move on, so I did. It was a little awkward, but I still felt like I was thinking too much about it. The first step I took, he pushed me down the stairs. I immediately stumbled and fell. Luckily, I didn't break any bones, but I hit my head a few times while going down the wooden stairs. When I got down and tried to get up, he stood over me with a crowbar and didn't say a word about the rice fields. Then he turned and tried to hit me on the head with it, but I managed to avoid it. Then I kicked him in the stomach. As he bent over and hit his head, I grabbed the other end of the crowbar he was holding. He fell to the ground and quickly lost consciousness. Without risking, I ran up the stairs and called Mason for help. I just had to leave. I got into the car and nearly suffocated as I tried to explain to Mason what had happened. Then I told him that I thought there were others. Idea. My heart told them to go back and help the people, but they couldn't. We called the police and they showed up right away. Was talking about Mason said he had to drive home to speak to the police when they arrived. We waited at the end of the driveway until one of the policemen came out and spoke to us. The man was still lying when the police arrived. He was handcuffed and taken to the hospital. He has a very long history, and I heard that he is still under investigation, so he may even get a life sentence. He tortured them, and God knows what else. But I have been to this therapist. He helps me a lot, but I'm still confused. It haunts me every day of my life. I took Prozac for anxiety. I wanted it all to disappear. Thoughts, nightmares, trauma, everything. Every day is a battle for me, but I will do my best to stay positive. Story 2. Home invasion. James Sanders had a pretty cute diamond ring and was hoping to make at least $1,000 when he put it up for sale on Craigslist. After receiving responses to his ad, he invited a young couple of potential buyers to his home in Edgewood, Washington, to see the ring that was in the house with his son. He let the couple into the house, but as soon as they were inside, the husband took out a gun and ordered everyone to lie down on the floor. While they were holding the Sanders family in custody, 2 more armed men broke into the house. 3 days later, 3 suspects, Dauncey, Joshua Reese, and Amanda Knight, were arrested in California traffic. A few days later, a 4th suspect, Claiborne Berniard, turned himself in the face of a major statewide investigation. 4 of them, were sentenced to prison terms ranging from 79 to 123 years. Story 3. One day I was browsing Craigslist. I didn't go into details because I was bored. I didn't even know then that people use Craigslist to meet, date, and make new friends. But after some digging, I found that this is definitely the problem. I was so bored and so lonely, so I started looking through the list. There is a man named Tom, very handsome. I was 34 at the time, so we were about the same age. I wasn't looking for anything specific, but I am a very calm person, so whatever happens, it happens. So the catfish situation didn't worry me too much either. He is undoubtedly handsome, and I liked his whole biography, so I gave him a chance. We started talking, and eventually he got my number. He was less than 10 minutes away, talking to me via email and phone all day, and asked if I would like to go to the nearest bar on a Saturday weekend. I say yes, and we keep talking. The situation quickly escalated, and we quickly went from friendly to very flirtatious. Have fun, chat, get drunk, and eat delicious food. I definitely liked this guy and had feelings for him. Late at night, before leaving, I got a message from random that said, "Stay away from my man. You shouldn't be with him when I arrive." I was so confused. I showed him the received text. He played like he didn't know anything about what it was or who it was. After that, he became very awkward and began acting suspiciously, as if he wanted to leave immediately. Just before parting, his girlfriend showed up. Yes, I said his girlfriend. He had a girlfriend all the time. I was quite angry and drunk, but I did not resist this lady at all. She started yelling at him, calling my name and cursing. I started yelling at her, but she literally took off her shoe and threw it at me, so I don't think she had it. Then she started attacking me with her purse. I grabbed her by the hair and tried to defend myself, but before I could, I fell to the ground and hit my head on concrete. I almost fainted and had to go to the hospital. That night was one big mistake. I still can't believe I was in that situation in the first place. I am a very quiet, reserved, polite, and well-mannered person, so none of that mattered to me. I don't even know how she found out about us. We were at the bar together. But I'm glad she found him before I got too invested in this guy and hurt my feelings more than before. That night, she went to jail and was charged with assault. I left without being charged or imprisoned, but I escaped with a severe concussion and a big fat reminder that you will never bump into someone online again. I have a fiancé. We have been together for over 5 years and are planning to get married next year. I don't know if this is anyone's intention. That night, I might have gotten worse.